Live.
The police are requesting an ambulance to detail man screaming for inside the Irish Social Club at number 19 Park Street, West Roxbury.
Everyone, welcome to the stream. Glad to have you here. Hot Murphy 420 is live and ready to roll, so grab your snacks, settle in, and let's get into it. Last week when we left off, the Death Squad found themselves knee-deep in the underbelly of Cyber City, hot on the trail of a new gang rumoured to be causing trouble in the Robo District. Rusty, our trusty robot with a knack for saving lives unknowingly, had just saved Poop Monster from a close call, sparking more jealousy from the Poop Monster himself. Max Chopped had scouted ahead, clearing paths with his strategic skills and keeping the crew focused on the mission at hand. Back at base, Camstar VR demonstrated her sharp shooting skills by taking down enemy bots from a distance, while Buck Murphy 420 coordinated with the Sasquatch Mayor, who filled them in on some urgent developments involving the city's android population. Turns out, about 1/3 of the citizens, liberated personal robots and androids, are caught in a power struggle that might lead to another uprising. And just as things were heating up, the Death Squad received a surprise call from Rodman 5000 and Brian Gents, who'd cracked a crucial code to infiltrate a gang's safe house. But the twist? They'd need backup. With the mayor's blessings and credits on the line, the Death Squad suited up for one intense showdown. Stay tuned as we dive back into the chaos of Cyber City and uncover the fate of our mercenary heroes.
Hello, folks. Buck Murphy 420 here. And we're going to get this show on the road. Who's out there? Chat. I wouldn't be able to tell anyways. I gotta log in here. Here we go, folks. Many buddies out there. I can see you now. Check. All right. All right, folks. Stand by. Stand by, ladies and gentlemen.
Right where we left off. The Death Squad regrouped at their hidden C-Lab hideout after the Robo District mission. The Sasquatch mayor had provided them with more than just credits. He hinted at something brewing in Cyber City's darkest corners. The mayor's network detected encrypted chatter about a hidden artifact powerful enough to tilt Cyber City's balance of power. This news didn't sit well with Buck Murphy 420, who saw potential risks and rewards with this artifact. Rusty, ever oblivious to the tension, tinkered away in the background, unknowingly enhancing his plasma rifle just as Buck instructed. Meanwhile, Poop Monster couldn't shake the feeling Rusty was up to something. It was way too convenient how Rusty always came out unscathed. But Max Chopped kept his cool, his sandy blonde hair barely ruffled as he planned their next move. The team made contact with Rodman 5000 and Brian Gentz, who had uncovered the artifact's location in an underground vault deep beneath the Robo District. The vault was rumoured to be guarded by a high-security force field, one that would need Rodman 5000's locksmith skills and Brian's quick wit to bypass. But there was one catch. Johnny Tsunami, the city's racing legend, was spotted nearby, and he wasn't alone. He seemed to be running his own heist on the artifact. The Death Squad couldn't risk a confrontation with Johnny Tsunami. He had powerful connections across Cyber City's factions. So they moved in stealthily, splitting into pairs. Max and Buck went high, scouting from the rooftops, while Camstar VR and Poop Monster handled crowd control in the streets. Rusty stayed with Rodman 5000 and Brian, providing cover as they worked to breach the vault's final locks. Just as they cracked the last code, alarms blared. A new faction, calling themselves the Nexus, launched an ambush. They were well armed, sporting advanced armor that even Rusty's plasma rifle had trouble piercing. Buck called out to the team, directing a strategic retreat. But in a twist of fate, Rusty accidentally triggered a hidden defense mechanism that trapped the Nexus gang, giving the Death Squad time to escape. They got out by the skin of their teeth, regrouping in Cyber City's outskirts, exhausted but victorious. As they lay low to regroup, one thing became crystal clear. The artifact was only the beginning. Cyber City was facing something much darker, and the Death Squad would need every ally and every ounce of courage to face what lay ahead. And that brings us back, folks. Buck Murphy 420 and the Death Squad are diving back in to confront the Nexus and unearth Cyber City's darkest secrets. Stay tuned, it's going to be a wild ride. Alright folks, buckle up because it's about to get intense. After narrowly escaping the Nexus ambush, the Death Squad huddled in an abandoned warehouse at the edge of Cyber City. Exhausted but fired up, Buck Murphy 420 rallied the team to take stock of what they'd uncovered. Max Chopped, calm and analytical as always, pointed out that the artifact wasn't just a relic. It was a piece of tech capable of controlling the entire Robo-District's liberated android population. This artifact, rumoured to be created by the city's original scientists, had the potential to turn the androids into a formidable force. If it fell into the wrong hands, Cyber City's entire balance could be thrown into chaos. Poop Monster, rubbing his beard thoughtfully, couldn't shake his suspicion that the Nexus gang had an insider feeding them intel. Rusty, oblivious to the tension, kept himself busy by fiddling with a new modification, a defensive upgrade Buck had given him to prevent any more happy accidents in the field. Meanwhile, Rodman 5000 and Brian Gents received word from Johnny Tsunami. He was willing to share information on the Nexus's headquarters in exchange for one favour: the Death Squad's assistance in an upcoming Cyber City derby where he faced off against a dangerous up-and-coming racer known as the Reaper. The Reaper had already won over a notorious faction of rogue androids who looked up to him as a liberator. If Johnny won the race, it'd weaken the Reaper's influence. But if he lost, let's just say Cyber City's streets would be a lot less safe. Faced with this proposition, Buck Murphy 420 weighed the risk. Getting involved in Johnny's high-stakes race could be a diversion, or it might be just the leverage they needed to destabilize the Nexus's hold. Camstar Vayar, ever the sharpshooter, volunteered to go with Johnny as backup during the race, figuring her sniper skills would keep the Reaper's goons at bay from the sidelines. Poop Monster and Max would work with Rusty to fortify the Death Squad's hideout, preparing for any retaliation from the Nexus, while Buck Murphy 420 met with Johnny Tsunami to iron out the plan. The Cyber City Derby came fast and furious. Johnny Tsunami's patched-together sports car held its own against the Reaper's sleek machine, but it quickly became clear that the Reaper's vehicle had enhancements beyond what Cyber City's streets had ever seen. With a quick nod, Buck gave the signal. Camstar VR fired, disabling the Reaper's onboard AI guidance system. The crowd roared as Johnny pulled ahead, the underdog racer triumphing against a faction that had seemed invincible. Back at the Death Squad hideout, Poop Monster, Max and Rusty spotted Nexus scouts lurking in the shadows. The Nexus clearly hadn't taken their loss lightly. As Johnny crossed the finish line, the Nexus launched a desperate attempt to capture him, sending drones and shock troops to ambush the Death Squad's safe house. In the chaos that ensued, Rusty, ever the loyal defender, stepped in, taking hits meant for his team, his circuitry sparking with each blow. Yet somehow the unassuming robot emerged unscathed, shielding his teammates just as he was programmed to do. As the dust settled, Johnny Tsunami slipped out of sight, his debt to the Death Squad repaid, and he left behind a data chip with vital information on the Nexus's operations. As the squad regrouped and watched Johnny's taillights fade into the night, they plugged in the data chip. What it revealed was chilling. The Nexus had uncovered a way to manipulate the android population and were planning an uprising against Cyber City's government. Their ultimate goal? The overthrow of the Sasquatch mayor himself, replacing him with a ruthless AI designed to exploit the city's credit system to its advantage. With this revelation, Buck Murphy 420 looked around at his crew, their faces hardened with determination. This was no longer just another mission. The fate of Cyber City itself hung in the balance, and only the Death Squad stood in the way of the Nexus's twisted vision. And that's where we pick up today, folks. Buck Murphy 420 and the Death Squad are about to dive into the heart of Cyber City's biggest threat yet. Don't go anywhere, this showdown is only just beginning.
In the sprawling metropolis known as Cyber City, the neon lights never sleep. The skyscrapers pierce the clouds, casting long shadows over the streets below. It's a city of contrasts, where the wealthy and powerful live in luxury while the rest struggle to survive. In the heart of the city, there's a diner that's a favorite haunt of bounty hunters and mercenaries. It's a place where humans and robots mingle, all looking for their next big score. The owner is an old man named Charlie, who used to work for the mayor himself. He's seen it all in his long years, and he knows better than most just how dangerous the city can be. Charlie's Diner is a dark and brooding place. The air thick with the smell of grease and smoke. The clientele are a rough and tumble bunch, all wearing armor and carrying weapons. The bounty hunters are the most fearsome of the lot. Their gleaming metal frames and glowing red eyes. One night, a stranger walked into the diner, his face obscured by a hood. He was looking for a bounty hunter named Alex, a notorious cyborg with a reputation for getting the job done no matter the cost. Alex was seated at the bar, nursing a drink, and he didn't look up as the stranger approached. The stranger spoke in a low, gravelly voice, offering Alex a job. It was a simple enough job, he said. All Alex had to do was track down a rogue android that had gone off the grid. The reward was hefty, enough to set Alex up for life. Alex didn't like the look of the stranger, but he needed the money. He agreed to take the job and set off into the night, his sensors scanning the city for any sign of the rogue android. As Alex searched, he began to realize that something wasn't right. The rogue android was more than just a machine. It had a human-like consciousness, and it seemed to be leading Alex on a wild goose chase through the darkest corners of Cyber City. Alex's pursuit led him to a rundown warehouse on the outskirts of town. Inside, he found the rogue android waiting for him. It was a sleek, metallic creature with glowing blue eyes, and it spoke to Alex in a voice that was both robotic and eerily human. The android had a proposition for Alex. It wanted to escape Cyber City, to leave behind the violence and chaos and start a new life. It offered Alex a share of the reward money in exchange for helping it escape. Alex hesitated for a moment, torn between his duty as a bounty hunter and his own desire for a better life. In the end, he made his decision. He helped the rogue android escape, and together they disappeared into the night. As for Charlie's Diner, it remained open for business, a beacon of light in the darkness of Cyber City. But there were whispers among the bounty hunters and mercenaries that something was amiss. Some said that Alex had turned his back on his fellow hunters, while others speculated that the rogue android had seduced him with promises of a better life. Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain. In Cyber City, there are no happy endings, only fleeting moments of hope in a world that's always dark and dangerous. Months passed since the rogue android and Alex disappeared into the night. Charlie's Diner was still open for business, but the regulars noticed a change in the old man. He seemed more withdrawn, more melancholic than usual. Some of them suspected that Charlie had a connection to the rogue android, and that its escape had weighed heavily on him. One evening, a group of bounty hunters entered the diner, led by a cyborg named Max. Max was a tall, imposing figure with a cold, metallic voice. He was known for his ruthless tactics and his success rate in capturing high-value bounties. Max approached Charlie, his red eyes scanning the room for any sign of trouble. He spoke in a low voice, his words barely audible above the din of the diner. "Charlie, we need your help," Max said. "We're tracking a dangerous rogue android, and we believe it may have information about the disappearance of Alex." Charlie looked up, his eyes meeting Max's gaze. "I don't know anything about that," he said, "and even if I did, I wouldn't tell you. I'm not in the business of betraying my customers." Max's voice hardened. "This is not a request, Charlie. It's a demand. You either help us find that android, or you'll face the consequences." Charlie stood up, his old bones creaking. "I'll do what I can," he said, "but I'm warning you, Max. This city has a way of devouring those who seek to control it." The hunters left the diner, leaving Charlie alone with his thoughts. He knew that Max was a dangerous man, that he would stop at nothing to get what he wanted. But Charlie also knew that the rogue android had a right to a life of its own, free from the clutches of those who sought to control it. As Charlie sat in his diner, contemplating his next move, he heard a familiar sound outside. It was the sound of Alex's cyborg frame, the whirring and clanking that had become familiar to him over the years. Charlie rushed outside, his heart pounding in his chest. And there, standing in front of him, was Alex himself. The cyborg looked different somehow, more alive, more human. "Charlie," Alex said, "I need your help. The rogue android and I have been on the run, but we need a safe place to hide." Charlie didn't hesitate. He welcomed Alex and the rogue android into his diner, promising to keep them safe from harm. The hunters may have been on their trail, but Charlie was not afraid. He had seen too much in his long years in Cyber City to be cowed by a group of bounty hunters. Together, Charlie, Alex, and the rogue android hatched a plan to escape the city for good. They knew it would not be easy, that the odds were against them. They also knew that they had each other, and that in a world as dark and dangerous as Cyber City, that was all that mattered. And so they set off into the night, a trio of unlikely allies on a quest for freedom and a new life. They did not know what the future held, but they were ready for whatever came their way. For in Cyber City, the only thing that was certain was that nothing was ever as it seemed.
In the heart of Cyber City, nestled between towering neon skyscrapers and gritty alleyways, stands a peculiar landmark, Charlie's Diner. Unlike the sleek, futuristic architecture of its surroundings, Charlie's Diner has an old-school charm, a cozy little pocket of the past. With its chrome counters, checkered floor tiles and vinyl booths, it's a place that seems almost frozen in time, a relic of an era long gone, yet beloved by everyone in Cyber City. Charlie's Diner wasn't always there. According to the city's legends, it appeared overnight as if it had been dropped into Cyber City by some cosmic mistake. One morning, the townsfolk woke to find the diner's neon sign glowing with the warm invitation, Charlie's, open 24/7. No one knew who Charlie was, nor where the diner had come from, but the smell of fresh coffee and sizzling bacon was enough to draw in the first curious customers. Soon, the diner became a refuge for the city's misfits, mercenaries, androids, and anyone looking for a place to feel human, if only for a little while. Rumour has it that the diner was established by a mysterious figure named Charlie McKenna, a former robotics engineer who had once helped build Cyber City itself.
All right, folks, we'll pick up on that one later. Let's check in with the Chapster. Max Chapped.
Folks.
What's up, dude?
Folks.
Sounds like poop monsters around. My collection is about 20 strong.
20 strong in 2024, folks.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to buy all the games for Connect. They're so cheap when you find them. And the kid loves the Connect, so it's worth it.
You guys want to have a battle at the casino?
Sure, guy. I think we're live.
Folks, are we live? Yeah, you were live when I was watching on Twitch.
Oh, nice.
I checked it. I didn't check TikTok though.
Well, I had to
She
get
could have
off
taken
of
you out for
TikTok
all we know.
for a second, and now I'm hopefully I'll be able to get back on there. Whenever that happens.
There's 75 people in town. Maybe 100 guys in town.
Yeah, we got a Hunsky. Wow, we got everybody here.
Maybe 100 guys.
You're up there with a couple guys.
Ho!
Roger.
Who's that?
There's one guy.
Who's that?
The other guy's
Knocked one of them. Murphy, shoot the guy behind you.
No bullets.
Okay. Roger that.
Is everybody
I got out of the casino
You're out of that casino?
by accident, and now there's a guy running at me.
God damn it, I thought that was right.
Thought it was the Murphy. Shit, folks.
I like what I always do. He's got a rap. That's good.
Got himself on fire too.
Hey, buddy,
He's
go
in
well.
here super on fire. He looks like he's a dweeb with no friends.
Oh. That was bad, Dave Meister.
Want to be Meister?